Howdy everyone, I'm here in Sydney with Nish from EVTrove. That's right.
Howdy guys, yep.
So Nish asked me if I wanted to catch up in Sydney. He's local to here. Nish drives Tesla as well. Do you have a 3 or a Y? A Y. How long have you had it and how many Ks?
Got it for like almost 2.5, 3 years almost, 70 Ks, yeah.
Okay, so you're almost at 80,000?
Almost, getting there, getting there.
Right, okay. So you know my one behind. This one's from 2021. This one's the Tesla Model 3. It has the LFP batteries that everyone seems to rave about. Charges always to 100%. Uses heaps of the superchargers. It's used as a rideshare vehicle. I'm mainly based here in Brisbane, but I was down here to go visit my dad, which also then turned into visiting a Tesla event that they conveniently happened to have down here on Friday for the Tesla Powerwall 3. So my vehicle behind me here is just over 300,000 kilometers now.
Wow, congratulations. That was a long trip though.
Yes.
So how'd you find the trip, Nathan?
Coming from Brisbane?
Yeah.
Yep. So I used the Tesla navigation. I just put in where I was staying. So on my trip from Brisbane, it was down towards Port Macquarie. And I mapped it out. It showed me. So this time in this car, because I drove a Model Y about 3 weeks ago down to Canberra from Brisbane, and it chose different charging stops, and that was because of the roof box that was on the Model Y. So the efficiency changed. I did capture, this car mainly did about 135 to 140 watt hours per kilometer, whereas the Model Y with the roof box, I was seeing somewhere based on wind and also the aerodynamic drag, sometimes the efficiency went up to about 210 watt hours per kilometer.
Cool. I should be more daring and bold and take mine out for a long spin like this.
Yeah, so it went really far. The navigation, if you've already got a Tesla, you know that it navigates to the superchargers on the route, so it tells you where to go, and then as you get closer and closer, it starts to precondition the battery so that you get the fastest charge rate when you arrive at the site. One of the things I normally would do when I'm maybe about 10 minutes out from the site, particularly Harwood, which is down near Yamba, they've got 4 fast chargers there, and I'm like, click on the button, tells you how many available, and you're like, 3 out of 4 available, and you're like, okay, that sounds good. So there's no wait at all when I was doing any of these trips. The fastest one was always using the V4 superchargers, and my vehicle, being that it's just the standard range, it will top out at a maximum of 170 kilowatt of power coming into the car. If you have a long range or a performance, you can get up to 250 kilowatt.
Oh, cool. So you say there's a lot of planning that goes out. If someone who's starting just new and want to do a long trip, you got to like map a few things out before you head over.
Yes, yeah. So it will do that in the car. There's no real stress on it. It'll tell you exactly where you're going to stop, and it's super easy. You can always use other third-party apps like PlugShare to see different photos of sites, of different charging sites if you're not familiar with them. I didn't have any issue doing this, and given that I've already driven this car all the way down to Melbourne and done Great Ocean Road, done the 12 Apostles.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's likely that when my wife's got time off in October, we'll do something down towards Sydney, Port Macquarie area, and just do the same kind of thing in my car again and go pretty far.
So what's planned for the rest of the day? Seems like a beautiful day today in Sydney here.
Yeah, for some reason it's not raining, it's not too hot, it's nice and chill. Today I'm going to start driving up to Moorland, which is near Port Macquarie, and that's where I'll do my first layover stop before then heading out back to Brisbane.
Well, we'll all be watching your updates regularly on the Facebook community.
Yes. Yeah, I've yet to find someone at the supercharger. You know, I'll probably arrive at a supercharger location and then I'll start taking photos and videos, and I haven't been interrupted by anyone saying like, oh, you're that Nathan guy, right? Because when I was at the Powerwall event, a lot of the installers, because it was mainly an event just for installers, were like, oh, I know that guy, I know that guy. So I like that there's a lot of recognition that I would definitely receive, and
that's amazing.
Yeah, I keep doing that. Last thing before I wrap this up is, so my car with the 300,000 Ks behind us, it's still on the same brake pads. What do you think of that?
Oh, that's amazing. I was about to ask, how are you going with the brake pads? Because 300,000 K, still
the same. Yep. There's a guy that is on this Facebook group named Nigel. I believe he changed his brake pads on his Model S Tesla just after about 560,000 Ks. This is the guy that has the Tesla with, I'm pretty sure, above 700,000 kilometers on a... Yeah. I think it's either...
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So depending on the operator of the car, that can change how long your brake pads are going to last. So my brake pads, I very rarely use them. And if you're efficient as, letting go of the accelerator, letting regen do its thing, you very rarely use your brake pads.
That's good to know. Yeah, that's
Unless you live in Canberra and it's really cold, you get the little symbol saying regen limited because of cold temperature, then, if maybe they're commuting and it's like 10 minutes, by the time they get to their destination, the battery won't be warm.
Any other maintenance advice after such a long trip?
So some people ask me, like, do I have a tire repair kit?
Yeah.
So I don't have a tire repair kit in mine. My car's got the tires from Continental, the E-Contact tires.
Gotcha.
And they have the sound acoustic foam inlay, as well as self-sealing on punctures up to 5 millimeters in size. So if you got a nail, the nail's okay. It's not going to lose the pressure, and the little gooey rubbery stuff will seal around that nail, and you won't get a flap. Obviously, you can then remove it later once you're in a convenient spot, and it'll be fine. So I'm definitely kind of backing Continental in their product that they've got here.
Fingers crossed, yep.
Their tires are going really well. Some of the comments when I first got those tires going on, they're like, did you want to put some nails in it and see what you do? I'll wait for that to naturally occur, and it hasn't happened yet. There's almost 20...
Well, there's a video idea for you there.
Well, let's put some nails in the tires. Yeah, so just over 21,000 kilometers done on those tires at the moment. Other maintenance thing that I've done on mine, because it's got electric boot trunk, is I've replaced the boot motorized thing, because it was getting... a bit weaker over time. My boots opened and closed several times in a day-to-day basis.
Was it an aftermarket or was it approved by Tesla? Because a lot of people have this misconception, like, if I do something like that, it's put at a third-party tailgate or something like that, might void my insurance or anything like that. So have you run into any problems like that?
The electric boot thingy looked exactly like the official one.
Okay.
But it didn't have the official label on the side of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got away with it.
Yeah, I had no problem on it, and I also replaced the gas strut as well.
Yeah.
On Tesla Model 3s from 2024 onwards, you'll notice that there's 2 electric tailgate things on the back to assist it better than what those are. And if you've got a Tesla from, was it 2018, a Model 3, you don't get electric boot.
Yes.
So, when you've got your car, some people might want to manually close the boot. You're like, no. Yeah, they might have one from 2018, and it's normal for them to manually close it. And so, I don't know. So, any other questions you had? No.
Well, we'll always love you to come back to Sydney more often.
Yes. I don't know. Well, if you're ever up in Brisbane, if you're doing a long trip, I'm up there.
Yeah, I might be planning a trip sometime in October.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yep.
I reckon the Brisbane market needs more events, because I was just back from the Melbourne SUV show.
Oh, yes. Brisbane should host that stuff. We do have a convention centre.
Yes.
Yes.
So, well, I mean, it was amazing to see, like, what else is coming in the market.
Yep.
I think it's almost like within a year or so, we got like 58 new brands coming in. And so,
right.
I mean, it's good for the consumer. We get more options.
More choices,
more options.
Yep.
This space is going to get even more competitive, I reckon.
Yep.
So,
What's your thoughts on how, if it is a Tesla supercharger that is open to third party, they also charge them a higher cents per kilowatt hour rate, or you can have a membership where you pay per month? What do you reckon about that?
Well, I've spoken to people that they're open to both.
Yeah.
Right. It's like depends on your usage and stuff. Like, some people are willing to do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, there will be a higher cents cost because you are paying for the Tesla network. So.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we have to say. Like, from a consumer standpoint, people who are closer to the urban areas, they go, I just pay extra. I don't mind it.
Yeah. Would you, if you've had your car for the last, would you say 2 years or something, would you say that superchargers that Tesla have are more reliable
Well,
than,
of course, yeah.
than the other
ones, yeah.
other ones, right?
Yeah. So there's a trade-off, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to be like 2 hours away from your stop, and you're relying on say PlugShare, and you're like, there's a third party that's not Tesla, and then you're looking at the comments, you're like, faulted, not working, unavailable, and you're like, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never had that issue with the Tesla superchargers.
No.
I've never seen that. No.
So, yeah, I think with more adoption and our charging network getting better, hopefully those problems will go away. But because as you know, we are quite behind from a US market.
Yes.
That's what I've actually noticed with people's and their comments there. Like even though people who have not bought their EVs yet, that's the biggest concern.
Yeah.
Like,
I tell people do research. Be like, hey, there's a Tesla product, the cars, and it has a whole network of its own backed supercharging network, because you know that not all of Tesla superchargers are open to third party. Some are, some aren't. I charged for the first time at Chatswood, which is not far from here, and that's a new V4 supercharger. That site's awesome. Sydney, with a lot of people living in apartments, they might benefit from using superchargers.
Well, I ran into the same issue because our starter said we're going to jack up the rent if you ask for
chargers.
Yeah, for chargers, because the apartment where I am at is quite old.
Okay.
So
it costs a lot of money.
It costs a lot of money. It's just like 10 apartments and only two owners, including myself.
EVs.
Yes, EVs. So it doesn't make sense for other people to. So it's going to get complex.
Right.
The rental market. So we have to see how it goes, especially with Sydney.
Yes. Yeah. All right, Nish. Well, thanks for the chat. Thanks for meeting me up here, and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll post up the photos and everything on here on the Facebook group. So stay in touch, and thanks for everything.
Cool. Thank you.